as awesome as Bobby is, as awesome as Michael has been, the straw that stirs the drink for this offense is Vinnie Pasquantino. When he is going and when he's driving runners in, the whole thing works so much better. There's reasons why the offense had some highs and lows. He's a really contact-oriented dude, and when the batted ball luck is not in his favor, the offense tends to scuffle. But when he's going and the hits are falling and he's driving the ball all over the place, elevating and celebrating to the pull side when he needs it, the offense gets going a lot more, and that was what we saw today. One Royal Way back at it here on Kansas City Sports Network. I'm Joel Penfield. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure to like, rate, subscribe, review on all platforms. Hit those notification bells so you know when these episodes go live on the audio and the video side. Not a live show tonight. Just this is recording about 5-10 minutes after the game ended on Tuesday night. We will be live on Thursday, 8:30 Central, with it being the off day. We can do a little longer form. Make you guys part of the conversation. If you're an audio-only listener, go over, hang out over there. We're on the road to 900 subscribers over there, so be sure to go check that out. This show, as always, brought to you by Emprise Bank. Member FDIC, our partners in Possible here at Kansas City Sports Network, and on this show, we can't thank them enough for their support over the last couple of seasons. Very different conversation, at least these first couple of games against the Washington Nationals compared to what we had on Sunday. Sunday felt kind of like a time of death a little bit on this team. Losing 2 or 3 to the Twins, especially in the fashion that they did on Sunday. And I talked about at the end of that episode, we'll see what they're made of. If they're going to let Sunday beat them twice and come out flat against the Nationals, a team that's well below 500. I mean, they came into yesterday's game at 47-70. And so you wonder what are they going to be able to do? Are the Royals going to be able to get it done? Is this going to be the bounce back spot for Bailey Falter? A lot of factors coming into this, and it didn't start great. The Nationals jumped him early in this game. Bailey Falter, it was not a great first inning. He walked the leadoff batter. Now a couple of those were strikes, is what it is. Bounces back with 2 strikeouts, and then just hangs a slider to Josh Bell, who absolutely hammered it to left center, and it's 2-0 just that fast. It's like, oh boy, is this the road we're heading down again? Are they going to be able to handle any of this? And then the bottom of the first comes up, and Bobby gets on, and Vinny hits immediately into a double play. There's just this odd feeling early in the game, like, are they going to be able to hang on here? Are they going to be able to keep this going? Second inning a little bit better, Adam Frazier with an RBI and Nick Lofton sac fly. 2-2. Falter settles in a little bit, and you're in a much better spot. And I'll continue on Bailey Falter here. So the line, not real pitch efficient in this game. He throws 76 pitches, doesn't get out of the fourth, gets through the 4th inning, doesn't get to the 5th, second consecutive start for Kansas City where that's the case. 3 hits, 2 earned, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. He did have the strikeouts working a little bit more in this one than he did against Boston. But it was not a real pretty outing. And now there's a few different ways for me that I kind of look at this. He had 11 swings and misses, way better than he had. I don't think he had a couple against Boston. They were just jumping anything. Part of me is like, you see the little flashes of why the Royals like him and why they coveted him. Like with the way he throws his fastball, the average induced vertical break around 1920, spins it pretty well with the extension. Like that is a trait that is hard to teach. Like that sort of extension, the ability to spin the ball that way. He did not have very good command of his curveball or any of his breaking stuff. And that was a problem against Boston as well. Like he can land his fastball sometimes, but if that's the only thing he can really land for a strike with any sort of consistency, then you're just sitting fastball and just spitting on everything else. He was leaving his curveball up quite a bit. The slider he couldn't quite land for strikes. Only threw that 8 times, but it was really just kind of a show me pitch. Now he was able to get a couple swings and misses. 2 strikes. It was kind of throwing it up there, and get a guy with lack of discipline and get it. Was able to get out of the inning. had an inning where he walked 2 guys and then strikes out 2, gets out of the inning. It's not pretty. It's not all there. And I think this is going to be a little bit longer of a run. You're going to need a little bit longer of a runway to figure out how to maximize what he is. Not a real big command or control guy. He has this great fastball, but there's just not a lot else there right now. So I trust, as I've talked about before, I implicitly trust Brian Sweeney and Zach Bove to be able to figure out how to maximize what he is. If that's a 5 starter, which I think that's probably his ceiling, but that's a pretty good spot to be. And to have 3 years of control on that guy at, next year's his first year of arbitration. So for pretty cheap, all things considered, I think it's still a win for Kansas City. You traded a quad A reliever and a high A first baseman. Like, the process of it is still good, even if it's going to take a little more than maybe the immediate impact we thought that he might have, given that Sweeney and Bove a lot of times have been able to get guys very quickly to change and to be much better and to flash a little bit more than Falter has. But I do think there's still enough bits and pieces there that are good for me to think, okay, long-term, I think this can work. But right now it's a little choppy. And so I wonder what they end up doing with Michael Lorenzen on the way back. This is really going to be a situation where they have to decide, is he going to be able to knock this out? Is this going to be something that they're going to be able to get done with him, in the near future? So we'll certainly have to see. I'm not out. Like I said, I'm not out on him. I'm not concerned. I just want to see how the larger sample, as it increases, what they're going to be able to do with him. We'll get it done. I'm curious how it ends up working out. In the game later, they get him out after the 4th. I'm sorry. Daniel Lynch comes in, he gives up a 2-run homer to Paul DeYoung, and it's 4-2. The offense had kind of sputtered against Kate Cavalli, and they let him face the order a 3rd time through. Salvi comes up 2-run homer, and it's tied just like that. The inning keeps rolling, and Kyle Isbell comes up and hits a 2-run homer into the seats, into the bullpen, caught by Mitch Stetter, bare hand, the bullpen coach. And Kyle Isbell, very quietly, like, I know it's been talked about a little bit that he has been swinging a better bat in the second half of the season, but I didn't really realize how good he had been in the second half. So since the All-Star breaks this from the Miami series on, he's slashing 333, 391, 460 with a 137 weighted runs created plus. Like, he has been fantastic. And I've talked about it a few different times throughout this season. Like, so much of the offense and the onus of them to get things done is predicated on Bobby, Vinny, Salvi, Michael. Really coming into the year with Bobby, Vinny, Salvi, because we didn't know Michael was going to be this. And that every once in a while, they just need a guy at the bottom of the order to step up a little bit. Rave had a decent stretch there between on the road trip to begin the second half in Miami and Chicago. It's like, okay, like, there's somebody. Tyler Tolbert's had some sparks every once in a while. Grichuk has done it against lefties. He had a double tonight. Yaz did it in his first plate appearance in Kansas City, hitting 6th. Indy has done it now that he's gone down to the bottom of the order. Like, it doesn't have to be everyone every night, but just can somebody step up to take some pressure off of these guys in the middle of the order. And Isbell's done a great job of that. If he needs to lay down a bunt, he lays down a bunt. He's done a great job of using the opposite field. That was something Adam Frazier there in the article after the game last night, Andy Rogers said, Frazier went to Isbell and was like, how many home runs do you have in your career? Isbell was like, I don't know, 22, 23. It's okay. Stop trying to pull the ball all the time. Like, use the opposite way. And it's kind of opened things up for him a little bit. I think there is sometimes this, guys want to maximize their profile, which often means pulling the ball in the air to either hit home runs, fly balls, because that's where the money's made. But for a guy like Kyle Isbell, who doesn't have a ton of power, well, he's got enough that he can pop you 5 to 8 a year, just slash the ball all over the place, pull one when you can, and play solid defense. And out of the 9 spot, he's giving them exactly what they need. So it's raised the floor of this offense. having a guy like that that's just not an automatic out. Like Kyle Isbell is not in there for his offense, but when he is this, I think he's got his season weighted runs created plus up to 83. He was like 82 last year. So if he is between 80 and 90 weighted runs created plus with his defense, ability to steal a bag, lay down a bunt, just do whatever the team needs, like it's a valuable piece. And he has done a great job, and he deserves a lot of credit for some of this transformation he's had in the second half, just trying to become an all-around better hitter. And that's where some of the leadership of Adam Frazier comes in, that this team talked about and this team needed. He has 3 hits again today, last night Adam Frazier did. 7 hits in 2 games. I had the stat before the game that he's already reached 36% of his entire 2024 season total in the 19 or so games that he's played for Kansas City so far. It's kind of funny. But he has been very good. And I know that the trade was mocked. It was laughed at. It was, what are the Royals doing? Why are they trading for this guy? And he's actually been a significant contributor and a reason why the Royals have played better baseball in the second half of the season, adding a guy like that in. And he's done a solid job. So there is credit to be had there for both the Royals making that move and understanding the importance of a guy like that, not only in the clubhouse, but obviously on the field, and Frazier for producing and not being the kind of dead weight that he was at times last season. He's been a lot better, and he's healthy this year. I guess he had a thumb injury most of last year. So healthy Adam Frazier, kind of see what it looks like, and it's a heck of a lot better than what we saw most of last season. So that's there. They get it done. Carlos Estevez gets his 30th save of the season. He's one of only 5 Royals closers to get 30 saves. First since Ian Kennedy in 2019. I forgot that Ian Kennedy had 30 saves when they moved him to the bullpen. It was actually a solid reliever. I think he had like a 3.4 ERA that season. So he's been good. Obviously Estevez is, had his moments, but gets the job done more often than not. 30 at 36 in save ops. It's a pretty good number considering I think 3 or 4 of those blown saves are with the Manfred runner on. So I put those in like a separate category. So I digress. A win that they desperately needed, and they got it done. Using the long ball, they pitched really well. The bullpen did a solid job. Zerba gave a solid inning. Schreiber gave a solid inning, and obviously Estevez locks it down late. So a lot of credit to go around there. The Nationals are not good, but if you want to be a good team, you have to beat up on bad teams, and that's what they did last night. So we'll move on to the game on Tuesday right after this.
Looking for tickets for your next event? Tickets for Less is your #1 source. Save big on every purchase when you use promo code KCSN at ticketsforless.com.
I'm BJ Kissel, founder and CEO of KC Sports Network. Emprise Bank has been with us from the beginning. They were our first network partner, and they believed in the vision of what we were building from the start. I can't speak to any other banks or companies and how they operate, but I can tell you from personal experience and based on the growth of the network you're listening to right now, that if you have banking needs, call our friends at Emprise Bank. We've worked with so many great people there over the years, from Vicky and Aggie to Andrea, Lori, Jackie, Deb, and Aaron, and not to mention so many others that not just supported KC Sports Network, but supported our KCSN Foundation as well. But the best thing that I know is that if I have a question or a problem, no matter how dumb the question is, I know who I'm going to call and who I'm going to talk to. And I know that I'm getting an answer from someone that I can trust. And I know that person is there to help us. That's why Emprise Bank has always been and continues to be our partner in Possible. And they can be yours too. You just have to reach out. If you have a banking need, whether it's business or personal, hit me up. I will connect you directly with the same people that have helped us build KCSN. And that's our friends at Emprise Bank.
Sure to hit that like button and subscribe button, everybody. I appreciate those that are listening to this. Be sure to, like, rate, subscribe, review, as I mentioned earlier. I appreciate the support this season. Look forward to hopping in the chat with everybody on Thursday night to recap the final game of this series against the Nationals and preview the weekend against the Chicago White Sox coming to town, here pretty soon. So Royals win tonight, 8-5. The offense really got things going early, and it was all Vinnie Pasquantino in the first couple of innings here. Sack fly in the first when Michael walked. It was Michael in the leadoff spot with the lefty Mitchell Parker on the mound. A very right-handed heavy lineup. The only 2 lefties in there were Vinnie and Adam Frazier. And Vinnie, then Mitchell Parker comes up later in the game, or he comes up against him later in the game, 2 on, 2 out. in a spot where last year he was automatic. This year has not been that. Certainly has had his moments where he's been red hot and has been driving guys in like crazy. But lately, and since the All-Star break, he's really been scuffling, hitting below 200. This does not look like the same guy that he did in June and the first part of July for this team. And jumps on a first pitch fastball and hits it into the first row in right field for a home run. It's 4-0. And he's got all 4 RBIs. And it kind of got them off and running. Walker was solid there for the first 4 or 5 innings. It kind of got away from him in the 6th. He gives up to the 2 runs. It was not that pretty. There were some defensive miscues, certainly. There was one instance where it was a pop-up with 1 out and runners on the corners, and balls hit out kind of in a no man's land between center, left, and left center. And Bobby's underneath it, but Tolbert's running in, and I don't know if there was just a lack of communication or that's just a lack of time out there. I think it's probably more the latter. And by that, I mean, like with Isbell predominantly playing center, like Bobby kind of knows where he's at, and they kind of have an idea where they're going to be in certain situations. And in that situation, either Izzy's going to call him off or Bobby's going to call him off, and everything is fine. I think Bobby wanted to call him up, but he didn't know where Tolbert was in relation to where Bobby was going out. So I think they both kind of got caught in between. That's where sometimes these super utility guys, it can kind of bite you a little bit because there's just not a lot of experience playing center field with Bobby at with Bobby at shortstop, and the ball fell in, and it was a bad situation. It's not excusing the bad defensive play. Just trying to kind of give context to what happened there. But Waka, again, he gets into the 6th. I mean, steady as can be for the most part. There were only 3 strikeouts in this game, not a lot of swing and miss, but just continues to pitch really well, pitches to a mid-3s, and you kind of know what you're going to get every single day, every 5th day from Michael Waka. They went to Sam Long to finish the 6th and then to start the 7th. And I understand they needed depth out of somebody because Estevez had thrown 3 straight days. Ursic had thrown 2 consecutive. He had thrown 2 of the last 3. Obviously, Harvey's down now. I forgot. I failed to mention that earlier. With, I think it was a adductor, in his leg. It was like a groin strain, essentially. He's probably done for the year. They are confident that he can get back by the end of the year, but I'm not going to count on that. It's just kind of in the story for Hunter Harvey and in his Royals career, that he just has not ever been healthy for this team. In Kansas City in his career, he only threw in 18 games, 16 1/3 innings. I mean, that's it. He only threw 10 1/3 this year. It doesn't mean that I would relitigate the trade and I'd want to hold on to Caden Wallace. Caden Wallace isn't doing anything in Washington in Double-A. So it's kind of a wash. It was a good process. It didn't work out from an injury perspective, and that's just sometimes things you can't control. Luinder Avila called up to be a part of the Royals bullpen. I find that to be real interesting. I'll talk a little more about that at the end. Sidebarred myself. Back to the game. So they make it close, and it's it's 5-2. It's 4-2, and you're like, oh man, I don't know. Are the Royals going to be able to hang on in this game? And to the Royals' credit, they went kind of punch counter punch in this game. With they get 2 in the or they get 1 in the 6th. They make it close. It's 4-2, and then Grichuk comes up and he gets an RBI double, and then Jonathan India with a 2-run homer, and it's 7-2, just like that. They open it back up, but then Long gives up 2 more in the 7th when he faced top of the order, which I didn't like. I know that they needed length out of him. That was the point I was trying to get to earlier. But with what we've seen from Sam Long, like, you can't let him face the top of that order with James Wood and CJ Abrams. I know they're both lefties, but those guys are really good, and Sam Long is not a lefty specialist. Like, his lefty-righty splits are reverse. Now, it was that way too, though not incredibly drastic. It's way more drastic this season. And so they closed the gap again. And to the Nationals' credit, like, that's a pesky lineup. Like, James Wood is really good. CJ Abrams is really good. Dylan Lyle, the young right fielder, I like him. Robert Hassel made a great play in center field defensively. Rob Randall Grichuk a home run, and then Rob Nick Lofton of a double seemingly with a diving catch. Rose hit the ball hard tonight a lot, some hard luck outs, but they still end up scoring 8 runs on. It's only 6 hits, but they hit the ball hard for a vast majority of the night. Final run of the game comes from Vinnie Pasquantino for the Royals. He hits a double down off the top of the wall and right. 5 RBIs for him with a couple of hits and the home run. Like I said, he had been scuffling. Maybe this is what gets him back on track, is when he's humming, this offense really gets going. As awesome as Bobby is, as awesome as Michael has been, the straw that stirs the drink for this offense is Vinnie Pasquantino. When he is going and when he's driving runners in, the whole thing works so much better. There's reasons why the offense had some highs and lows. He's a really contact-oriented dude, and when the batted ball luck is not in his favor, the offense tends to scuffle. But when he's going and the hits are falling and he's driving the ball all over the place, elevating and celebrating to the pull side when he needs it, the offense gets going a lot more, and that was what we saw today. So we'll see what they're able to do moving forward. You got another game tomorrow and a chance for a sweep, and a sweep that they need. They're 500. They haven't really been able to make up any ground in the standings with some of the games that have gone on in front of them. Let me see if we have any update. Yeah, there's still 4 back. Texas is currently in progress with the Diamondbacks. Maybe they're able to make up a half game there. But the Red Sox are in Houston. The Yankees are playing Minnesota. They're beating up on them. The Mariners won again tonight. The Mariners are playing incredible baseball right now. And Cleveland is playing Miami starting tomorrow. So they already won the game tonight. So bit of a tough spot for them. We'll see, what they're able to do and if they're going to be able to make up any ground. They need some help at this point, but they can also help themselves by just continuing to win ball games. Tomorrow, Seth Lugo's on the mound for Kansas City, and a spot where they need him to have his good stuff. His last couple of starts have not been very good. They need him to go out there and spin a really good game, save the bullpen a little bit. It'll be Jake Irvin on the mound for the Washington Nationals. I'm hoping that when we record on Thursday, that they are going to be able to, we're going to have a sweep to talk about. And then you got a series against the Chicago White Sox for 43-76 and a chance to win some, continue to stack wins while the schedule is light or lighter than it has been, certainly. So we'll see what they have. The last couple of days have been kind of encouraging with the way the offense has performed. Obviously, playing a bad team and a bad pitching staff and missing their best pitcher helps. But you got to take advantage, and they've been able to do that. We've seen plenty of times where they have not taken advantage of playing either bad pitchers or bad teams. But this is one of those where they've done that, and there's credit to be deserved there. Toast game to Vinnie Pasquantino for 5 RBI game in this one, and then I'll go Kyle Isbell, toast game him for the big home run on Monday to help really put the game away there against the Nationals on Monday night. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and we will talk on Thursday live, 8:30 Central, here on YouTube. So be sure to come through, check out, be a part of the conversation, and we'll talk soon, everyone. Have a great one.